Title: The Hollow Reflection. The voice, soft and masculine, caressed the silence of the room. Do you like what you see? It resonated, not as a question, but as a sentence. He was alone, facing the antique mirror he had found in that second-hand shop lost on the outskirts of the city. Its ornate frame, made of a dark, almost petrified wood, had immediately drawn him in. Now, under the dim light of the room, he saw himself, a tired man, with the shadow of stress etched in the dark circles under his eyes and an incipient grimace of bitterness at the corner of his lips. But something was not right. His shadow in the mirror moved with a disturbing independence. While he remained still, his reflection gesticulated, a deformed grimace that did not correspond with the expression on his face. At first, he attributed it to fatigue, an optical illusion. But the unease began to grow, like a poisonous vine, when the shadow stretched an arm towards the reflection of the lamp on the table, as if trying to reach it. He blinked, trying to dispel the hallucination. But upon opening his eyes, the shadow in the mirror had advanced a step. Now, behind his own reflection, something else could be distinguished. Something dark, twisted, that seemed to emanate from the mirror itself like a thick, malignant mist. The reflected room was no longer his own. It had transformed into a desolate landscape, a world of shadows and impossible angles, illuminated by a waning moon that cast grotesque figures on a cracked ground. A chill ran down his spine. He recoiled instinctively, but stopped when he heard the voice again. This time, it was an anxious whisper, laden with dread. "Don't look directly into the mirror." Too late. His eyes had fixed on the distorted image that stretched behind his reflection. The mist dissipated, revealing an abyss of palpable darkness, a window to a terrifying reality. And from that abyss, shadows arose. They were not simple projections of objects, but living entities, with shifting and threatening forms. They stretched, twisted, crawled along the walls of the reflected world, as if desperate to escape. One of the shadows, larger and more grotesque than the others, separated from the group and slid towards his reflection. He felt a paralyzing terror as he watched it merge with his own shadow in the mirror, as if two pieces of a macabre puzzle fit perfectly. The shadow grew, swelled, deforming his reflection into a monstrous caricature of himself. He tried to move away from the mirror, but his feet seemed glued to the floor. The voice screamed, now guttural and desperate, from within the reflection. "Run! Don't let them catch you." But it was already useless. The shadow, now completely separated from his reflection, spread from the mirror into the room. It was cold, viscous, and enveloped him like a shroud. He felt his mind tearing apart, his sanity fading, as he was dragged into the dark and twisted world of the mirror. He fought, screamed, tried to cling to reality, but the shadow was too strong. It dragged him through the mirror, through the window to another dimension, where light was a rarity and horror was the only constant. He fell into a void of shadows and silence, where grotesque shapes danced around him, and voices whispered unspeakable secrets. He was no longer himself. He was one more part of the mirror world, a shadow among the shadows, destined to wander eternally in the darkness. His mind fragmented, his identity dissolved, until nothing remained but an echo of what he once was. The mirror, now empty, reflected the room in silence. The only sign of the tragedy that had occurred was the subtle distortion in the reflection of the lamp on the table, as if something invisible had touched it. Outside, the night continued its course, oblivious to the horror that had been unleashed in that room. But in the mirror world, the shadows celebrated their victory. They had found a new prey, a new soul to feed their darkness. And deep within the abyss, a voice, no longer human, but a distorted echo of the one it once was, whispered endlessly, "Do you like what you see? Do you like what you see? Do you like what you see?" The question resonated in the darkness, a macabre invitation to a world of unimaginable horror. The mirror, a door to madness, waited for its next victim.